And I am Gary DeHart. And so I want to say good afternoon and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, which is Top 5 Ways to Increase Profitability with Payables Automation. As I said, my name is Gary DeHart. I'm the publisher of Insightful Accountant and host of today's webinar. Our presenter is Sharrin Fuller. She's the CEO of Glass Wallet Ventures and is a managing partner in multiple accounting and financial services business. I'll let her touch a little bit deeper on that if she'd like. I do have a couple of housekeeping items to go over before we cut Sharrin loose. One, CPE is available for this session, and you know the drill. You have to be present for 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and you have to answer at least 3 of the polling questions. Certificates will be sent to you via email within 24 hours to those who meet the minimum requirements. If you have any questions, we ask you to put them in the questions panel. We do have Brooke Gonzalez from Corpay One, who will be managing the Q&A panel. A link to the recording will be sent to you afterwards, and which will point you over to our YouTube page, which I will also put that in the chat. And then the slide deck will be available in the chat once I stop talking here as well. So without further delay, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Sharrin. Sharrin, thanks for sharing your info and your knowledge with us. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Sorry about the off and on of the screen share there. I was trying to get my Zoom open, but apparently having the Zoom and the presentation sharing at the same time is not in the cards for this afternoon. So thank you everyone for joining me. Top 5 ways to increase profitability with focus on payables automation today, of course. I love talking about this topic. I completely enjoy it. A little bit about who I am and why you want to be listening to me. There's my little bio if you want to read it. I did start a completely remote accounting firm back in 2006, scaled it, grew it, made it pretty big, sold it, or it was acquired in last year. And then from there, I sat back and decided, okay, what do I want to do now? And now what I do is I really specialize in working with accounting firms. From scalable to saleable is what you'll hear a lot from me if you follow me much. And I really enjoy coaching and assisting accounting firms on how to go remote, be in the cloud, scale in the cloud, and then prepare your firm for acquisition. So in part of that, of course, is what we're going to be talking about today, and how to scale, how to just be a little bit more efficient within your business. So here are our top objectives for today. I am going to identify the top 5 workflow systems to automate for profitability in your firm. This, of course, isn't going to include payables because that is our topic. We're going to learn how specific automation processes can create more efficiency, cost savings, accuracy, which will open up your opportunities to scale your services. We're going to discover some proven protocols for implementing the team, workflows, client experience, that way you can deliver higher level advisory services for more profitability and efficiency. And then we're going to identify the potential customer bases your firm can work with for these services. So when asking people about automation, what they do in automation, are they automated, how do they scale? A lot of times people get hung up on what can be automated. In this day and age, and we'd like to give a shout out to COVID for this one thing, they really shot us into the future of technology. COVID forced us all to automate, forced us all to start utilizing, the cloud, which in my opinion has been a great thing. I've been doing it for a long time, but getting others to do it has been a lot of teeth pulling over the past years, especially to clients. When you meet a client and they say, hey, can we meet up? Can I come to your office? And I say, I don't have an office. We can hop on Skype because, Zoom wasn't really a thing prior to COVID very much. We can hop on Skype. We can, there's so many things that we can do here to talk. And they didn't like that. They wanted to bring you their paper. They wanted to meet you in person. And I didn't want to meet anybody. So like I said, automation has really been hard on both the end user and to other businesses because you're kind of dealing with two different types of people here. So when it comes to automation, these are the top 5 things, if you have a firm, that you should absolutely have automated. If you haven't, please, please, please look into this. This is where our future is going. This is where the industry is going, and you will be left behind. You definitely don't want that. You don't want to be the only one with a rotary phone. Why everybody is saying, hey, rotaries aren't a thing anymore. Those aren't going to work. So you want to get, ahead of the curve if you can, otherwise jump in line with the rest of everybody else. So bookkeeping and data entry, this is a huge one in the accounting industry, as we all know. A lot of our software that we use, such as Intuit, I'm an Intuit user, so you'll probably hear me reference Intuit a lot. There's a lot of things inside of that software that, if set up and utilized, can really automate your bookkeeping, your data entry, your journal entries, all of those things. There are some other software platforms out there that you can read into your accounting software that can help automate this process. I think this still has a little bit of ways to go, but I think that with what we have, you can be a good 60 to 75% on your bookkeeping data entry automation. Accounts payable, there's so many options right now, absolutely insane amount of options, and it's come so far. This should absolutely be automated. Sales tax reporting and payments, same thing. There's quite a few different softwares out there. Payroll and payroll journal entries. If you're still manually processing payroll, that's a whole other discussion that we need to have on a sideline. But if you're using a third-party payroll software, which you should be, these should all be automatically set up to read into your general ledger, to book in your journal entries. If your people are hourly, then it should honestly just be a matter of approving, and the payroll should run on auto. Same with contracts, agreements, and invoicing. There's just so much out there. So these are the top 5. I would assume almost in this order that how I would automate. For today, we are going to focus really on the accounts payable. And for each of these things, I do have suggestions on what I prefer to use. If you don't know, which tends to be a big holdup. If you don't know who to use or who to try for each of these automations, if you go to my website, which I think is at the bottom of every single one of these pages, go to my gold mine, which is what I call my tech stack. And from there, I tell you exactly who I like. Like I said, I've been around for a while. I've really tried all of these platforms and found out what I like and what works and what flows really well together. And in there's links. And if you sign up via the link, of course, they know you're coming from me. And some of them have a little bit more incentives, being that I sent you over. Anyhow, first thing, let's do a real quick poll question. I like to get an idea of where everybody's at on this. Gary's going to launch this for us, and I can't see. Oh, I can see the answers. Thanks. Thankfully. Okay. So which of your firm's core workflows have you automated? If you have automated all 4, that's great. Maybe your top automation, if you've only automated 1, or if you've automated more than 1. I seriously cannot see I can't see the results over here. So Gary, you may have to tell me what the results are. Or chat them to me, I guess.
Yeah, I'll shout them out once we'll close this out in a few more seconds here. So if you're going to participate, go ahead and please do so now. And again, reminder, if you want a CPE, you need to participate. So we'll get this closed out in 5 seconds here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, here we go. Ended up with 63% bookkeeping, 25% payroll, 13% tax prep, 0% payables.
Wow. All right. I'm excited for this webinar now. Amazing. Okay. So I hope this is going to rock all your worlds. So that's great to know. So I'm glad that your bookkeeping is automated. Because like I said, I feel like that's the big one. That's the one that really gets you. So I was just reading last night, trying to get some statistics for you all. And one of the things I read was Will robots take our jobs if accounting is automated? My answer to that is yes, absolutely. There are going to be pieces of our jobs that are absolutely going to be automated, and robots and tech will 100% take it over. And we as workers will never touch them again. So there's a website tool that was developed by Deloitte and Oxford University that predicts that the likelihood that a robot will take your job, that there is a likelihood that a robot will take your job. And according to that tool, accountants have a 95% chance of losing their jobs to robots, which is insane. So that's kind of a number that you need to get in your head. And that's why I really push people to automate as much as they possibly can, so you can focus on the really people-oriented portions of your company. Whenever I ask people about automation, I always find that no more than 30% of firms are automated or using any sort of tech. A lot of people are still in paper in that day-to-day. So again, you want to kind of get ahead of that. So let's go on to my next slide here. As we talked about, today is about accounts payable. And I'm so glad that it is, because you guys are already on the ball on the other ones. So why accounts payable? The scalability, that AP person is one of the jobs that the robots took over. The efficiency, your cost savings, and remove human error. So those are the 4 points I'm really going to touch on today. Within about 5 years, they say 90% of finance functions should be fully automated. And that was a 2020 survey of CFOs by Grant Thornton. Accounts payable right now is the most automated function by all the people that were interviewed, with 61% of respondents having that currently implemented. And in 5 years, they think they'll be to 96%, which is crazy. So that's definitely the way that we are going. Another quick polling question really quick before I kind of jump into these 4 points. Which of the following operational issues is your biggest roadblock to scaling your firm? I know that right now we're in the Great Resignation, and the new one is the quiet quitting. And those are both kind of new issues to firm owners that have been around for a while. Nobody really had to worry about a Great Resignation. We've had plenty of people left and right. And honestly, that's another topic that I'm very passionate about and I do speak on. So if you follow me, you can likely find a webinar on my speaking about the hiring between generations. Go ahead and pick what your biggest reason is.
All right, we'll get this closed out in about 5 more seconds.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to participate, go ahead and do so. And 3, 2, and 1. And so we had 44% knowing the right technology solution to use was 44%. Then recruiting talent and budget were 22% each.
Wow.
Then retaining talent at 11%.
All right. No implementing technology, huh?
0.
Awesome. So I love that the retaining talent is so low. That makes me very happy for you guys. Knowing the right technology solutions to use typically always becomes the very, very #1 reason. And why? We go to a trade show or a conference as accountants, and how many options do we have amongst everything that's out there? There are about, I don't know, I just went to XeroCon, and I would say there were 6 payable solutions there, and all of them claiming the same exact thing. So it is really hard. And the problem with a lot of these solutions is that when you don't know until you get in and start using it and decide if it's really going to be a good fit for your company. So I do understand using the right technology. When it comes, I usually tell people the best way to find out is, I call it the phone a friend method. You can demo all of the different platforms you want. You're going to see the highlights. In the accounting industry, the best thing to do is really ask across the board of people you trust, influencers, people that have done it, people like myself, where I think, I feel like I'm the payables expert at this point. This is probably my 4th webinar on payables, and I've used just about all the payable systems. So I feel very confident and secure when I speak about this. So then one of the main reasons that you want to automate is scalability. In order to scale in these day and age, you need to add automation. As I said earlier, removing the people aspect from your firm of anything that will become a robot, will be automated, will become technology, is honestly going to reduce having that overhead. And it's going to allow you to spend that time on CAS, or client advisory services. That's a hot phrase in our industry right now, CAS, client advisory services. Advisory is where the future of accounting is going. Why? Because advisory and that relationship can't be automated. I mean, it can, but really only the tools for us to be able to advise as people is the portion that can be automated, the back end. The scaling of your firm is really going to be built on your knowledge in what you can provide to your clients that they can't log in and get as an end user somewhere else. So you need to be able to provide that. They need to be able to trust you. And that's how you're going to be able to keep them in. So if you can remove the items that are driven by software and utilize the people on your team instead for advisory, not only are you still retaining the revenue that you had already because you're still offering the same service, you're now adding to it. So your revenue is going to go up, your services are going to increase, and you're not having to add anybody else to your company to make this happen. You can do it with everything that you have. With my teams right now, whenever they come to me with an issue and they say, hey, Sharrin, we are overwhelmed, we need to hire somebody else. We sit down and we have a brainstorming session. What is the key problem? What do we need someone to do? What can be taken off your plate that's going to be the biggest time saver? And then we look and we try to find out if there is technology or some sort of software solution that we can implement in place of hiring a person. Now, I have nothing against people. I'm very passionate about my team. I love my team, but I want to be able to grow a company as big as I possibly can with as few people as I possibly can. By doing that, I'm able to provide excellent benefits to my team. We are not growing so big that people are now just a number and not an actual name. We're able to keep that internal relationship, and we're able to pay them so much more, and they really have value. And again, to go back to the Great Resignation, that is what we're seeing today with a lot of our younger generation. They want to be in a position where they feel valued, where they're doing something. They don't want to be another cog in the wheel. They don't want to be another number. So by doing this as an accounting firm, I'm going into depths here, but I kind of want to see, kind of show you the ripple effect of one thing, what it can do. You're really adding more value to everybody on your team, because they are now not just doing what can be replaced. They have more security because they know that a software is not going to come around and wipe them off the map. So that's something that's very important. I speak a lot on relationships, and your scalability really has a lot to do with your relationships between your team and your clients. I have clients that have been around since 2015. And why? Because they trust us. We've been able to scale our business while maintaining the relationship, adding the services. Like I said, we want to be able to add as much as we possibly can without increasing our overhead. So that is your number one goal when it comes to adding technology. The next thing is efficiency. This would be why I would automate my payables. This is my favorite part. I was a fractional controller long before I became a fractional CFO or became before I started running companies, this is what I did. And the reason being is because I call myself the emperor of process and procedure, not even the empress. Like, I am the emperor. I love process and procedure. I love when somebody comes to me and says, we're a mess. We have no idea what to do. How do we fix it? And that's where I come into play. This is what we did with Payables, and we did it way, way back in the day. One thing that I don't like to talk about a lot of software when I'm on these things, because I don't want to seem very biased. But one of the original Payables was Bill.com, and I was a Bill.com beta user. That's how long I've been using it. I think that was 12 or 13. Somebody's going to surely correct me. Anyhow, way back in the day. So the minute that became a thing, and I found out I no longer had to go to my clients and have them print checks and mail checks and ask them, hey, did you stamp? Did you mail? Where is that check? As soon as I realized that wasn't a thing anymore, I immediately automated this process. The very first thing before technology, right when QuickBooks Online was really a thing. So this was really my process. And let me give you really quick my process for how we handle AP. We've been doing it over and over and over. It doesn't fail as long as you have it written. So the number one thing I do with my clients is I have their email set up. So we typically, when we take on clients, we have a specific email directly for that client. I don't like it to go to my team, because if the team leaves or something happens, I don't have access to this. Instead, there's like an accounting at whatever the client's name is. And we all have access to that email, so we can all respond. We use a ticketing system anyhow, so everything comes in. Now, with most all payable software, you also are assigned a specific email for each of your clients. This is the best. They didn't used to have it that way, but now this is honestly the best way to do it. The software that I really love, and the reason being, it does this, and okay, let me take a step back there. We used to have everybody send in the bill to the accounting at, and then we would forward that accounting app to the internal software email for the client. The reason we would do that is because we would want to save that PDF file on a drive somewhere. The software that I love, it saves it into QuickBooks for you. And I will get to that at the end, just so you know. So I don't have to worry about that second step anymore. And you have no idea how much time that saved. So now what we do is we have a process written. We tell the vendors, the client will say, hey, here's a new vendor. And we front face as our client. So we send out a welcome email to the vendor. Hey, vendor, great to meet you. We process all of our payables via this software. You're going to receive an invite, add your bank account, unless you've got it on your invoice, it'll scan for you. We process payments on this day and this day, just kind of giving it to them, depending on, every client has something different. You have to send us to get paid, blah, blah, blah. If you have any questions, let us know. So they get that little quick email knowing what's going on. That can also be sent out via the software as well. Then the vendor immediately sends all the bills to the address for the software. From that point, the software then scans it, reads it in, and all we have to do is double check that the software was correct, click approve, and then it goes through the payment process. So pretty darn simple. As I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about the process that I had 2 to 3 years ago before technology really, really evolved. And now as I'm sitting here realizing, it's almost evolved so much that you really do all of this through the software. We used to send out PDFs. Now you can add them, the email goes out, they add their information, they add everything on the back end, they fill out their W-9, they send you the invoice, and you can have a whole automated process. So by doing that, we have almost completely removed people from the payables process. And the good thing is that internally in the system, you can set up a flow for each vendor. You can set up a flow depending on the dollar amount. I can set things up to auto pay once it's fully approved. It can auto pay on certain dates of the month. It can auto pay a few days before due date. It really kind of depends what your policy is. But once essentially you click approve, and you can set how many approvals you want, then it's ready. And it reads straight into your QuickBooks file. So your payables are completely updated. And then you click if you want to see what it is and you don't want to get back into your software. If you're in QuickBooks, the PDF comes over with it in your QuickBooks. So to me, that's worth its weight in gold, having it kind of everywhere. Another bill pay software, and I'm not going to use names anymore. The one thing that I didn't love about them is it doesn't do that. And whenever the client decided that they want to move to a different payable system, we had to then pay $50 to get a CD of all the downloads. Now that may not be accurate anymore, but I do know that they don't send over the PDF. They do keep it within their system. So those are little quirks that you definitely want to look into when choosing that payable system. Sometimes you don't realize the implications of some of the lack of features until they hit you. So like I said, I've kind of done my legwork. I've used about 6 different payable systems, and I've finally landed on the one that I really, really love, to the point to where like I said, I've done webinars for some of these other payables, and they want me to do some more. And I actually turned them down and said, no, I feel like I'm a little dedicated to this new one now. I really love it. And I want to only really promote what I absolutely love. Not that anything else isn't great. So the other piece of this efficiency, I hate paper. I'm going to use the word hate. It's strong. I can't stand it. I don't want it. I have a shredder next to me. When something comes in the mail, I just put it in the shredder, and I immediately put it on paperless. There are certain things typically from the IRS and the government, they just won't stop sending us mail, which is terrible. But I absolutely despise paper, and this removes paper from our life, which is my absolute favorite thing ever. All right. Wow, I really threw in a couple of poll questions right in the beginning, huh? And then just went right into it. All right, guys, cost savings. This is, of course, and I'm going to touch on a few things over and over, but only because these are such important things, right? So automate your payables with your cost savings. Of course, there goes that paper, the postage, the envelopes. You don't have to pay for that anymore. Stamps are going to keep getting more expensive because, well, life is more expensive, and you'd have to pay me a lot more to walk around delivering mail if I was a postal worker. So I completely get it. I really would love to see the future of the post office in the next, 10 years to see where it's at, considering my sister's a postal worker, so don't tell her I'm saying any of this. She gets really upset. But now they're taking on Amazon, and I think as the newer generations start, as older generations start retiring and newer generations start coming in, we're not going to have a lot of paper and mail. I feel like it's the government, I'm telling you, that keeps the paper. The government and my HOA sends me everything paper. They will not stop it. It's terrible. I keep telling them. Anyhow, those 2 platforms are just going to keep the post office in moving, but everybody else, I think it's going to completely move on from that. And then, of course, you're going to reduce your overhead, like we talked about. You've implemented a software, which is amazing. And now you no longer need that accounts payable person, right? So you reduce that overhead. Most all of the AP softwares out there, and I say most because some are still quite expensive, don't have a fee. So you start utilizing the software and there is no fee. There's no per user fee. There's no platform fee, at least the one that I'm going to tell you that I love at the very end. There's no platform fee. The only fees you pay for are extra things that you would anyways, like, hey, I need to overnight this check. Well, that's FedEx. There's going to be a fee. Hey, I need to send this international wire. Okay, well, that's a fee. So on most all the platform, credit card, right? They get the 3%. The platform that I use, if my client pays no bills for the month, they do not have a monthly fee. One of the platforms I used to use that I won't say the name anymore, but maybe I was a beta user on, I have to pay $50 a month just to have an accountant's platform. That's just to allow my clients to be on my platform to receive my discount. Then from there, my clients have to pay, I think it's 25 for the first user, and then $5 additional. So I had a client who they paid 2 bills a month via ACH, and they were paying $90 a month for this, just to be on this platform for the convenience of an approval process. I decided that that was just absolutely ridiculous and not going to happen anymore. So we moved. The one we're on now, there's no fee. There's no user fee. There's no nothing. Almost all our clients are always ACH. That's how we set up with each of the vendors. We don't even like sending out physical checks because I want to make sure it got to their account and that they put in their account information. We just don't want to deal with it. It's easier to track down, and it tells you, hey, it was deposited, it deposited into this account that the vendor actually gave you. So at the end of the month, when my client had absolutely no bills paid whatsoever and no fee, they're happy. They're not coming to me saying, why are you making me use this platform that's charging me $75 a month? In which then they come to you and they say, we're not paying this. That's ridiculous. We're paying 2 checks. You now need to pay out of my bank account, which is free. So now what we've done is we've just removed our efficiency, because now we're having to log into our individual client's bank account to process bill payments. And your efficiency is going to come into your cost savings. So when we take on our clients, it has to be our method of how we do things. We say to them, hey, if you want to be on accounts payable, if you want us to handle your accounts payable, it needs to be done our way. This is our process. We process payables twice a month. You need to go in and approve the day before. The next day we'll go in and we'll verify and we'll make sure they all get paid out. And of course you can adjust these, you can adjust this on the back end to where it's a little bit more automated. It didn't used to be as automated as it is now. And if they say, no, we want to pay it through the bank account, then we say, all right, you go ahead and keep doing that, because that's not efficient for us. It costs us more money to log in, especially if you have hundreds of clients, to log in and pay 2 to 3 of your bills via Chase Online than it does for us to log into our accounts payable software and approve everything and process in one place. Accounts payable, I think, when we used to do it that way, I think we were paying, so we would do it every other Wednesday, and we were probably spending a good 6 hours on payables for probably maybe 25 clients every other week, which that doesn't sound like a lot for 25. But when you get it down to an hour, that's 10 hours a month saved just on changing to a software platform. Of course, everything really just depends. We've always been very, very, very efficient. So the efficiency might be a lot higher for you guys, depending if you're comparing to what you're doing now. I'm comparing to, we were all still doing it online, but that's how we do it. So as you can see, again, no paper, it reduced your overhead because of people, and no software fees. That honestly is really the big one. You want to automate everything, get everything in the cloud, get everything paperless. And the next bit that'll be of cost saving is move yourself to no office space. And if any of you have office space, I know that's the scariest thing ever to hear, but how much money would you save if you could work from home and not have an office space, not have employees come into an office? If you feel the need, like maybe you're a heavy tax firm that you need to meet your clients, you can get one of the WeWorks or the Regis and meet them in a conference room and pay $100 a month. So there's a lot of cost savings when you really start utilizing automation. We're going to do another poll question here. How many clients do you currently handle payables for? I have a feeling this is all going to be fewer than 25, because I feel like a lot of you are not doing payables maybe you are. I guess this isn't really automated. So yes, how many are you currently handling payables for? And anyway, whether it's paper or logging on, driving to their office and writing a check, whatever it is that you're doing, how many do you process payables for? We're going to give you guys a few more, just a little bit on this. Here's the thing for, I'll wait till you answer. I have bullet points on this.
All right, we'll go ahead and close this out in about 5 more seconds. So participate if you're going to. 3, 2, and 1. All right, thank you. And then the results were 86% fewer than 25, 14% 100 plus, nothing in the middle.
Wow, the 100 plus. Man, this is going to be killer for you guys that have 100 plus if you're not automating this right now. That's crazy. Good for you. When it comes to payables right now, so many clients are like, everything's on autoplay. Hey, me personally, my personal bills, everything is auto pay. It all comes into my email. It auto hits my card. I try to look at it monthly. I've been so busy. I just telling my husband yesterday, I haven't looked at our bills since May, which is terrible. So hopefully nobody's, robbed us blind. Plus, I honestly just did not want to really look at my utility bill because I live in Vegas and I know utilities through the roof. So I've been avoiding that at all costs. But for those of you who don't handle payables, this is a huge revenue stream, especially if you're not having to hire an AP person. Nobody wants to pay their bills. Your clients don't want to pay their bills. They hate it. I promise you. They hate writing the checks. They hate stamping the envelopes. They hate sending it out. So offer to them. My thing is, if you've got a client that's like, hey, I pay 10 bills a month, great. Give it to us. We'll charge you $100, right? 10 bills, $100. You set up the process, do a setup fee, or maybe you want to build this as a revenue stream. Don't even waive a setup fee. And I know this sounds really inexpensive, but really think about the long run on it and being able to grab people in and handle, and then you can charge more as you move along. But go to those people and say, hey, we're going to handle your payables. We're going to do everything automated. It's all going to be in the system. You still get to look. Nothing will go out without you saying, okay, you have to approve everything. So they still have their finger on the pulse. And then take it over and move them into an automated system. Ongoing forever, you'll have $100 a month from this client that you didn't have before. You've now got them in your firm a little bit deeper because they need you. You're handling their process. They've got time left and you didn't have to hire anybody because it's an automated system. This is really, really a great revenue stream. If you have 25 clients, it's $2,500 a month. I mean, to do what? I told you, if you do this right, you'll really, once it's set up, you will really only be spending an hour a week just going through and making sure it's all set up. Just whenever you do hop into a software, make sure that you learn it really well, because there's so many things on the back end and you could be your life could be extremely easier if you really follow the directions, which I don't. I put together IKEA furniture without the catalog. So I'm that person. All right. One of the final things, of course, is removing human error. So the payable system, it has come so far. The OCR in some of these are amazing, like amazing. The one that I'm going to tell you that I love is when you, it's so good that when the invoice mails into the system will be like, hey, give us a couple minutes, we're reading this. And it is not joking. It is like reading for DNA. I'm not kidding you. If the bank account is on this invoice, it pulls in that bank account and puts it into the vendor in the software, to where now you don't even have to ask them for it because it was on their invoice and it added it for you. And it's like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to pay this by ACH because here it is. A lot of attorneys do that. And I caught that the other day and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. But OCR is so good that sometimes it picks up things that I'm like, oh, wait. But it's come miles. So I don't need somebody to enter the invoices anymore. All I need is somebody to approve, somebody to quickly review and approve. And the system, if you use the right one, will let you know if something's wrong or something changes. It kind of points it out. Like I said, there's a lot of rules you can set up in the back end, and you can set one set of general rules that follows straight along. And then you can go down deep down per vendor if you really wanted to, per user. So you can really automate it to where you don't really have to do much. Just approve it, and it could be maybe above a certain amount, or if something changed. So the OCR is awesome. The direct email, the fax, I no longer have to worry about, did a vendor send me an invoice and I didn't port it over? No, they send it directly to that internal email that goes straight into the software. The software then immediately reads it, sends you an email and says, hey, guess what? So-and-so sent us an invoice. We already read it. Here's what it is. You need to log in and approve it. So you don't have to do anything. If they want to get paid, they send it to you. I have a few vendors that I just have, it's an automated process. When they send their stuff in, if it's under a certain amount, it auto approves and pays on the due date. I still get an email. I can still stop it from happening if I need to override it, but I'm now not having to worry, did I pay this person, because it's whether or not they sent me an invoice. So that's kind of a nice system for us as well. And like I said, the automated backend workflow and payment system is really, really where it's at, and you can really dig into it deeply. And there's people out there, if you're not really technically inclined, I can always refer you to people that know the systems, that can hop in, that can help create your rules, write it on the back end. It's super user friendly. It's nothing that you need an IT or a coder for. Honestly, you just have to be able to read and answer yes or no and kind of understand, the basic idea of the software to really decide what you want to do. So what this has completely done today is you've got a new software. You're paying nothing for it. Your client's paying nothing for it. You have a brand new automated process to where your vendors are now emailing into this email. And now the system is reading the invoice. It's telling you, hey, we entered this. It's already in your QuickBooks. Here it is. You just need to approve. You click approve, and either one, it read the bank account and it knows how to pay, or two, the vendor's entering in their bank account, so you don't have to worry about that. So all this stuff is going on in the back end for free while you are doing everything else. And then you just jump in and you approve it. So we just got rid of that accounts payable person. In my opinion, technology has removed the accounts payable, accounts receivable role. There's probably a few more people still out there in bigger corporations, but this is the way we're going. Those two roles, if that's the role you're in, we need to get you working on something else, because it's not going to be a thing much longer. There's just no need. The software has absolutely stepped in. And like I said, always keep in mind, you are the trusted advisor. You are the accountant. You are the one they are paying. Do not be afraid to tell your clients, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing it starting now. We really hope that you'll support us and want to stay with us for this. If you don't, we will absolutely help you somewhere else to go. And I know that sounds like a cruddy thing to say, but if you have a clientele of 100 people or 100 clients, and 2 of them do something completely opposite of your process, those are the 2 that are always going to be a pain in your side, and it's not worth it. I don't care how much they're paying you to do it their way. It's not worth it. It's not efficient. It's not scalable. So you, as a firm, as an accountant, need to decide what works for you. You need to set up your process, and then you need to deliver your process and follow through on it, and don't back down, and just stand by it. Make sure you're educated in your process. Make sure when you take on a platform, you're educated in that platform. The one thing that I can't stand is when a company says, hey, you're going to use this new software, but they don't know it. So if you're going to put some sort of software in play, make sure your team is educated. Our policy internally is that if we bring something in, everybody on the team must be certified or guru or whatever it is that the software offers. They must be certified and they must know the software, because we're not going to push a software on our client and then charge our client to learn how to use it. So be that go-to for them. While the software people could help your clients. I don't like that to happen. I like to be able to be the one that kind of shows them what's going on. And I like to be able to go to the software team to help my team. Typically our clients are going to respond to us a little bit better. They're not going to want to have to call another number to reach out. They're going to want to come to you. So you can right now probably think about, I mean, honestly, think about the clients that you have. Anybody that you're writing checks for, just stop, right? It's pointless. Don't do that anymore. Move to automation. It's an easy thing to do. Like I said, once you learn the software, it's an easy sell to your clients. Your client, you just tell them that's what you're going to do. Otherwise you're going to, I mean, I guess you could say you're going to raise your prices on the other end to scare them into it, which is, bullying our clients is always an amazing thing to suggest. But honestly, I just tell people it's my way or the highway in a really nice manner, because like I said, we're the professionals. They're not. So stand strong on that. I have, now that I've gone through this entire thing, I want to tell you guys the payable solution that I recommend. And let me again reiterate, I was a Bill.com beta user. I tested Bill.com before it went out to public. I've tried a couple of other ones that they didn't hold up to Bill.com. And then I tried another newer payable platform that I thought was going to be absolutely amazing. And then I learned it, I got into it, and I found a lot of quirks that just did not work with what we needed. So I kind of gave up and went back to my original. And then I found this new software and I've been in it and I love it. I absolutely love it. Corpay One, you may have seen them around. You may have seen them and actually think that there's some sort of credit card processing company. They are not. They are a payables company. They are, like I said, free. There is no charge to you or your clients to use them. You can have as many clients on your dashboard as you need. Their workflow process is absolutely insane. They're the only OCR that I have found, like I said, that will scan in your bank account information if the client has it on the invoice and pull that information in. Nobody else has done that for me. No other software has pulled in the PDF of the bill into QuickBooks as an attachment for me. None. That is huge, because when I am bopping around QuickBooks and I need to just look really quick, I don't want to go to my Dropbox. I don't want to go to my Google Drive. I don't want to go back into Corpay. I just want to look right there. And there it is. You can see the actual invoice, which is amazing to me. They do have a credit card. I did get it the other day. I thought, why not? That looks fun. I don't know all the benefits on it, but I thought it was really cool. It reads straight in. Their customer support team has been amazing, but honestly, for me, it's the OCR and the customized approvals and workflows and automatic payments. So like I was saying, if you decided, I don't want to have to click pay every other Wednesday, I just want the bills to auto pay 5 days before they're due, I can now set that up. So I don't have to click in anymore to do any of that. It honestly, once I approve it, and if it's an invoice that I send over from my email, I have it set to where I don't even need to approve it. It just, the system knows, hey, this came from Sharrin. Sharrin set on auto approval, auto pay. So the invoice goes in, it reads it, it sends me a nice little email that says, hey, Sharrin, we just added this invoice, blah, blah, blah. It's going to pay on this date. And I'm like, great, sounds good. So that's an approval workflow that I can have, which is everything to me because I don't have time. So this is where I'm at. Like I said, if you look back on things I've done a lot of, I'm really passionate about payables, believe it or not. Weird thing to be passionate about. But like I said, it's just the low hanging fruit. It's the easy thing. These guys are amazing. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. If you want to go to my website, they are 100% in my gold mine. They're the only payable system that I recommend right now. Like I said, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like I said, free, easy, support's amazing. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you. It's just great. My team absolutely loves them as well. They're really, really, really happy with them. So that is where we're at. I've got one more poll question. We're going to do the Q&A. After everything I've just told you, of course, we want to know if you are interested in learning more about Corpay. This is, of course, if you wanted somebody to reach out to you, they can. If not, you can say no. You can absolutely go to my website and go check in. Their demo is pretty cool. You can log in and look around. But anyhow, my amazing responses are not in the poll, but that's okay. Gary shut me down on that one, but that's all right. I'm okay with that. So we're not going to announce the results of this because that would be just weird. We can hop into okay, cool. We'll hop into Q&A real quick. There are a couple. I don't have these answers, but I do have Brooke on the line, and she can either type in the answer or she can answer out loud, whichever one. I do not know if they offer private labeling. Brooke, is that a thing?
I'm not quite sure what that question
Like white labeling, where it looks like it's your payables platform powered by maybe?
No, we don't.
Not yet? Okay.
No,
That'd be a cool thing though.
that would be cool. Yeah. I mean, you use the platform, so you would know better than I, but like when
I don't remember.
I was going to ask you, like when you send someone a check, does it say from us or does it say from
I don't know. I
whoever?
only use ACH.
Okay.
If somebody
Yeah.
wants a check, I tell them they need to go back to 1995 and put on their KEDs.
Yeah, Dinesh, I'm sorry. Those are the client see. Yeah, I'm honestly just not sure. I'm in marketing, but I would be happy to connect you with one of our advisor managers who would be able to like deep dive into those things. I'm really good at the Corpay One pitch, not great when you get into the nitty-gritty details.
So they would, right now, I know if you log in, I believe they see Corpay, but they can see that they're under what firm they're under. So they would see your accounting firm and then they would see Corpay. So your clients would know that you're utilizing Corpay One, but it would definitely show your firm. They wouldn't be able to see any of the other clients on there. That is for sure.
And we don't offer payroll either. I see you said we offer payroll processing. We do employee reimbursements, but we don't process payroll.
No, he says he uses other payroll. I think he's talking about there's a couple of payroll processing. I know ADP white labels, if that's what you're talking about. They have a wholesale product though.
Got it.
So you never know in the future. Anything else? Anybody else have anything? I'm just assuming I was so absolutely thorough and opinionated that there is no questions to be asked because I have gone through everything. All right, awesome. Well, since we've got nothing else, we will wrap this up. I appreciate you all sitting through this. I would love to hear success stories for any of you that use Corpay, that move to automated payables. I am starting up a podcast and a blog, and maybe I can interview you. Would definitely love to hear success stories. That would be absolutely great. So please be sure to follow me. Check out Corpay, and I really hope I see some of you in the future via webinars. I'll be speaking at Women Who Count in Chicago in October, and I'll also be at QuickBooks Connect. So I hope to see you all in the future.
Great. Well, thank you, Sharrin. Certainly appreciate your time and sharing your knowledge. And thank you to everyone who took some time out of their day to come and learn a little bit about payables. Y'all have a great holiday weekend.